Here's the 30-minute price chart for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. As we can see here, we are finally starting to see a bit of a decisive price movement here. We are seeing prices kind of move to the downside, and we have now reached lows of, let's call this 124.57 during this July 16 trading session. So I'm going to be looking at these shorter term charts here because we're actually starting to get some decisive price movements here to the downside. And we do need to kind of drill down and look at these things a bit more closely in order to really see what's going on here. So, in particular, we can point to, there are a few different things we can point to here. The first thing that I would probably be looking at here when we're trying to assess, the damage here, would be the uptrend line here that's been drawn from, it's really the monthly trading activity, because this uptrend here began July 1st. We saw lows of 119.59. And this is a trend line that was tested on multiple occasions. So it was a very important trend line. I kind of left it in place here for a reason, even though we've seen a break, because we can see how many times it was tested. It was really tested about 4 times before we saw a decisive break lower here. Most of this damage really started to occur during the last Thursday trading session. This was a broad-based sell-off where even the broad index readings were selling off. So if you're looking at the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow, we were seeing broad-based selling pressure throughout the market. This was not an NVIDIA specific story. This was selling pressure that was posting really everywhere. It was harder to find stocks that were not being sold off rather than stocks that were being sold off. So what has happened in the trading periods that have followed here has been a bit of a diverging picture, a bit of a mixed picture as far as who are the winners and losers here. And this is why in the comment sections I've been kind of posting questions about who do you think are the winners and the losers, because I think that this Thursday trading session was really an inflection point that is probably going to set the tone for the rest of the summer. In my view, what we're going to start to see here is much more of a mixed picture as far as which stocks gain and which stocks lose. As we can see here, NVIDIA is failing here, and it is losing its support levels. Not totally surprising given the fact that this stock has truly taken off like a rocket this year, and just added more money to its market cap than pretty much anybody would have thought imaginable. So seeing some losses here, not entirely surprising, and we will need to start to continue watching this stock and analyzing this stock because it will be important to watch for potential entry points for new long positions here going forward. But in order to do that, first we have to kind of understand what failed here and what price levels are likely to come next. So that's what we're going to try to look at next here. But I am interested in hearing which stocks people think are going to gain and lose. Because, for example, Apple Computer, managed to recover all of its gains and traded above yesterday. Traded above its all-time high. It made a new all-time high yesterday. And as we can see, this has not occurred with NVIDIA. We're trading well below the all-time highs. So, there are clearly some winners and losers that are emerging here. Facebook, Meta Platforms, that stock is under major selling pressure. And if you want to see another example of a stock that's kind of losing in this environment, that would be an even better example when compared to NVIDIA. But for example, Intel has moved higher. Tesla managed to recover a lot of its losses. So there's definitely a mixed picture that is emerging here. So at the moment we have lost this upward sloping trend line here, and in addition to that, we have broken below all of these exponential moving averages. This is the 30-minute chart. So this yellow line here is the 20-period EMA. Orange is 50-period EMA. Purple is 100-period EMA, and the blue line is the 200-period exponential moving average. In the prior video, I was really kind of pointing to 127.20 or to 127.20 to 127.50 as being a very important support zone. because we had a few different pieces of information here that were pointing to this level. First, we did have this upward sloping trend line that I mentioned previously. Number two, we did see a bounce here in the past, which means that this is now an area of historical support that should be expected to continue supporting prices going forward. And then third, we have this upward sloping blue line here, which is the 200 period exponential moving average. So we had all three of these signals kind of coming into contact with the same price zone. So that was this would be the reason why I would have identified it. This is the reason I would have identified this region as being particularly important in determining whether or not additional losses are going to be seen. So now that we have broken through this level, we can see that the red candle here is extremely long and strong. This is because it would have taken a significant amount of selling pressure here in order to force prices through all of these technical support zones here. We did have three different areas here. So, this doesn't mean that it's a 100% chance that prices will bounce from here. It just means that it's most likely prices will bounce from here. And then if that does not occur, it's happening because there is a significant amount of selling pressure. You need sort of an extra, level of selling pressure in order to force prices through these levels. And we can see that this is what happened here. This is a much larger than normal red candle. And we can start to point to, all of these downside spikes in negative trading volume that we're seeing here. We can see a lot of red bars here, and they're really starting to outnumber the green bars. This stuff down here is the trading volume. So we can see that bears are really in control here, and they're able to force prices through these important support zones while reaching new lows below $125 per share. So these are significant price moves here, and this does suggest that we have now seen a top here, going back to this Thursday trading session with a top now posting at 136.15. So this really is the critical level to the top side. We are starting to see a downtrend start to emerge here. We've got this initial high. We've got a lower high, and then now a lower low. So we're going to have to start to look at this most recent trend activity, as the emerging, the new trend that's starting to emerge here. We're going to be focusing in more closely on this downtrend here in upcoming videos. But first, we're just kind of pointing to this initial break. Currently, support would be found at just below 125. But we have not seen a significant bounce here. We're currently trading at 126.50. So, it does look like we're going to start to continue to grind lower because there really are not any significant support zones here relatively soon. We've already lost all of the moving averages. And we're really not starting to see a support zone here until roughly 121.30. So we could see a bit more declines here before things start to turn around. So here's the current market analysis for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA.